Hello, people. Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Knives here on A Dose of Drew. And tonight we are going to review the Artisan Cutlery Ahab Darcy Blows. And this is, spoiler alert, as cool as it looks. I've seen a couple of things. I saw Stassa 23's video after I had purchased it. Made me feel a lot better about purchasing it. But yeah, this is this is as cool as it looks. I've seen it advertised as tactical. I got the wood. This is a gentleman's knife. All right, so first up on here, got to get all of the combination stuff out of the way. But again, really cool. Let's get into the nitty gritty. First things first, Spyderco sandwich, bam, paramilitary 2, and the Para 3, lightweight in this case. Now, it's really hard to line up the pivots, if you see why. It's really awesome. But yeah, just look at the edge on that thing. Okay, so first of all, it has more edge length than the paramilitary 2. While having a little more hand space than the paramilitary 2 without the choil. It doesn't compete with it. Well, I guess it does kind of compete with it with the choil. It's actually really close to it with the choil as well. Lots of hand space on that sucker. Always a good thing, especially on a knife this large. Something here on the paramilitary, on the Para 3. If you look at that real quick. Para 3 is about 4 millimeters thick. This thing's about 2.5 millimeters thick. Well, I'll go into the inches when I get into the dimensions here in a minute. But if you realize that that's about 40% thinner, right? Or so. It's basically, let me see if I can't do this under the camera properly. It's basically the same grind height and 40% thinner in the blade. For those of you who know your geometry and what that means, it is that cool and it is that good. All right, and then we're going to go with just a blur. All right, the Kershaw blur, as you can see, really close in length and overall to the Kershaw blur. Oops, and not just any leak, but jumping in unexpectedly is a random leak. I was looking at the blur and it popped out of my hand. My apologies, everybody. All right, so real quick here, if you look at the blur, it has more hand space, or at least similar hand space. The edge, again, that geometry is just significantly larger than the leak. And just to give everybody another good little bit here. Here's the Benchmade bug out and Saviti Elementum. Just look at the hand space. You got this extra tear right here. You can get a pinky in there if you have to. But otherwise, it's as big as the Elementum with the choil. It's got more hand space than a bug out on a package that is slightly longer. Just slightly. It is kind of keeps getting in there. And of course, look, I'm not going to complain. Darcy blows, right? My wiener is smaller. What can I say? All right, so, and here comes the other great part. 3.01 ounces in the wood. It's just at 3 ounces. And then we get into the quick bit here. Look at that. Just under 3.5 inches at the edge, and since the scale comes in front of where the edge is just a little bit, it'll be well under 3 inches there, and it's still under 3 inches at the edge. If I put it there at the thing, 8 inches at the back. And from that choil part, we have 4.5 inches. And that is great. And again, let's just, to get some of these other things in here, let's take a look at this grind height here at 0 We're 1 3/8, I think. Almost. Just under 1 3/8 on the total blade height. I don't know if you guys realize what that dimension means, but this is a slicing beast, right? I look at 2.5 millimeters is what I'm guessing this is. 2.5 millimeters, you guys, is 0.1 inches. It was a little bit in there. My eyeball, I'm going to tell you it's between 0.1 inches and 11/100ths of an inch on the blade stock by my eye measure. Don't know exactly there. Very thin, really thin behind the edge. That secondary bevel, like, it's hard to even get there's good shine. It's even on both sides. Kudos to Artisan Cutlery for getting that ridiculously even on both sides on such a thin bevel. I have used this a lot outside and everything, so I have stropped this once. I even took a measurement on an angle that is between a 13 and a 14 degree per side secondary bevel, you guys. In fact, I didn't get all the wash marks off. We'll see for that. Oh, it's a little bit better in the camera. Give her a good wipe. All right, so yeah. And that harpoon point. Oh, this is a slicey blade. And not only that, we'll get right into it. So the design right off, you can see it's got a fairly unique design. Very, very slim. Again, we'll go with the, if I didn't throw it somewhere or have it drop, there it is. Very, very slim without the pocket clip. We are talking about 3/8 of an inch. For my metric friends, less than 10 millimeters. 9.5 millimeters, maybe 10 millimeters at most. With a single pocket clip, hidden pivot screws, hidden pocket clip. The design on this is fantastic. This is a slicing beast, and it's designed to be. It's designed to be. This is a plastic piercer on this ridiculously fine point with this wonderful harpoon swedge backing it up. Saran wrap slicer. This slicey blade will cut to just about anything. Cardboard carver, because this sucker will too. And let me tell you, the ergonomics as this design right here. Yeah, that be able to control the point. There's that little change in bevel. Oh, so there we go. There's on the camera. There's a little change in bevel right there. For those of you, if I can get that on there. Boy, so there's a little change in bevel right there. Matches up nicely with your finger to be able to get in there. Pinch grip to really bear down, just like a kitchen knife in some ways. Like for those of you know who like a German style or where you have the draw and a smash. Like it's got a great little two second. There we go. Now I'm doing it right now. 2-section part does a really good job. Oh, man, titanium. Backspacer, hidden lanyard post. The design, I think, is fantastic. The aesthetics. The harpoon looks cool. It really does. But it's not just a gimmick. It provides a swedge and a support area for that very, very acute and fine tip. Kudos to Artisan Cutlery. My goodness. AR RPM 9, if I didn't mention it. You're going to be looking at edge retention somewhere around 440C to VG10 approximately, extrapolating from the 9CR18 results that are close to 440C on places like Knife Steel Nerds and that sort of thing. It's tougher. They have this thin blade stock, really thin behind the edge with this narrow, it's so thin behind the edge. I don't even know if I can get enough of a measurement to get an estimate. Let me see here if I can get it on camera. Boy, this is an awkward angle to try and do it. Maybe if I bring my fingers up here, it'll... No, that's not going to work either. I will tell you that it looks like right at the secondary bevel is at least it's just under half a millimeter. Half a millimeter would be 0.02 inches. So we're talking probably somewhere between 0.15 and 0.18 behind the edge. That's pretty thin. There's thinner ones. But then you have that 13 to 14 degree secondary bevel going from there to give you a nice long second at that thin that gives you that even slicey secondary bevel. Absolutely fantastic. So design, love it. Aesthetics, love it. Here's the thing, on bearings, boom. Drop shut. It is a little big in the pocket, but again, just to compare, it's actually the harpoon is probably about as tall as maybe a little bit under, as the Pair 3 or something like, well, here's something that might be other, or like the Pair 2, Pair PM2. So it's approximately that tall in the pocket, right? For those of you who don't have those knives, don't understand that, you're going to be looking at about 1.25 inches, somewhere between 1.25 inches, 1 3/8 in the pocket on total height. Very slim, however, so that, and the thinnest part is towards the seam where the pocket is thinnest, so it's not overly intrusive. The worst part is the thumb stud on that, which is nicely jeweled. Very nicely jeweled. A very nice little touch. These are teeny tiny scale screws, but that's okay. Touches like the machine titanium clip and machine titanium backspacer are really, really nice. Nice, let's see if I can get nicely skeletonized all over so you can see lots of little tiny holes and such, keeping this nice and light. Wonderfully skeletonized, Eiffel Tower style. Enclosed skeletonized liners, but full length and everything's mounted to them. That, and the clean lines of a pocket clip, like, oh man, like it actually enhances the look of the knife. I really do like the way the arc, the scalloping on it matches. Fantastic. The design aesthetics on this speak to me. I like it. And the noteworthy points, this thing's like $50. It's a slicing, dicing machine. Oh yeah, it's not a super steel. You're right, it's not. It's also $50 for a powder metallurgy thin. Yeah, it's a powder metallurgy, but it's also a powder metallurgy on something that has a high chromium content, and that in a non-powder metallurgy steel would have the tendency to, especially in a commercial heat treating process, to grow larger grains. The regular rolled ones, it's like CPM 154 and 154 CM. Yes, they're still tough, and you can get heat treatment protocols that get them close in parity, but you're still talking things like 10% difference, which doesn't sound like much until you realize that that's the difference between something like 440C and VG10. And so you go from almost 440C to slightly more than 440C. You go from a toughness that's, it's 20% more. That toughness difference, that 20% more, is the difference between S30V and S35V, according to Crucible. Other data notwithstanding. It's good numbers. It makes it easy to do the math. Oh, well. So, it's a really good idea. Yeah, it's still a budget steel, but it is one of the better budget steels out there. I consider 154CM, 14C28, and AR-RPM 9 to be the premium budget stainless steels. 14C28N, when it is properly heat treated around the 60 to 61, can have extraordinary properties and good grain when properly heat treated. AR-RPM 9 should be able to do the same. 154CM has... 10 years ago, 154CM was a pricey super steel, okay? CPM 154 was. 154CM was just a little bit better version of this. It's a good steel. They're all great. D2 isn't stainless. Only reason it's not in here. Properly heated D2 is the wear resistance champ of the budget steels, in my opinion. And I mean, the D2 is more better, but you can get similar edge retention out of the tougher steels by getting better geometry, because that's the problem with D2. And this knife, in its design and execution, maximizes that philosophy. Thin blade stock, tall, flat grind, thin behind the edge, long, very acute secondary bevel, swedge that reinforces that thin tip and gives you a little bit of extra while also providing a break, and a wonderful little thing. This is like a food prep knife almost. As I'm sure there's tactical vibes to it. Reverse grip is nice, in all sorts of ways. There's not a really good stop on there, but for an EDC bit, I can this is a paring knife. We'll talk about other ideas I have about this knife and other things later. Artisan Cutlery. For those who don't know, I am trying to, this video is being made while I'm in the process of trying to not monetize, but subsidize the cost of the channel by viewers. Hopefully, I have now a Patreon, a Buy Me a Coffee, and I'm looking to partner with affiliates such as Artisan Cutlery so I can get promotional materials. And if someone goes and buys something with my link, we all get happy kickbacks and all that sort of stuff. Basically, if you buy it because you saw it here and you decide to support me a little bit, for every dollar you spend, I'm going to get some tiny percentage that really isn't going to amount too much, but hopefully over time I might be able to get a knife or something, or do something cool for the channel. It goes to the channel. 100% of all proceeds go to supporting, maintaining, and doing this channel. So there we go. That bit is out of the way. Sorry to get it in there. Noteworthy points again. Super slicey EDC. 3 ounces with a little over a 3-inch blade. Almost a 3.5-inch blade. That's really lightweight. I don't expect the G10 to be really significantly different in weight than the stabilized wood. If it is, it's going to be in the 10th, maybe a 10th or so of an ounce. So instead of 3 ounces, it might be 3.1. But I doubt that even would be true. It may even be just slightly less. The design is good. The cost, again, noteworthy points. The design is fantastic. Super slicey. The ergonomics are great, especially in something like a pinch grip or the going there. You can absolutely, there's no jimping, except on the bottom, just a little bit to make sure you don't run, so your finger, if you're not looking, does not run up onto that too quick. But it does have really good Saber grip ergonomics. You can do this all day and bear down. It does put your thumb in the cutting path, however. So it really is a bearing down in this area, more likely something like this where you can keep this angle. Bigger thumbs may be able to reach and use the tip, but for me it's right around the thumb studs, just out a little bit, so there's a way to really utilize that mid part of the blade. If I'm going to be doing a lot of chopping with this, I'm going to be doing an overhand grip, and I'm going to be pushing through where, actually, if I'm using it in my hand, my thumb goes basically about where the thumb studs are. It would be in the way and stuff like that, but again, using the tip, just the tip, giggity, works fantastic. This is so much control. I mean, honestly, it's 2 fingers, and you have the thumb gives you some lateral stability along with that, but just these 2 fingers right here, the balance point is right near that first scale screw, right? So right here is the balance point, which gives you great maneuverability. You choke up just a little bit. Once you're right here, that balance point is triangulated between these 3 fingers. If you take that off, it's triangulated in between those points, right? Very, very controllable, super slicey. Intended purpose, for all I can tell, is an EDC beast. This is truly a knife that you can carry around in an urban setting. I'm not going to discount an outdoor or anything else, but really as an urban setting, it might be a little large for some areas, but for things like opening packages, opening gifts, being able to do something like a freaking clamshell, because this knife will do it and do it well, right? Like you can really, at my most, I could get in there and I could control this through a clamshell without worrying about it going out. And it is thin and slicey and tough and abrasive resistant to take on the hard plastic. To cutting up fruit or anything, if you have anything resembling a cutting block, this thing is, like I said, you can get a full pinch grip up on the there's we go. You can get a full pinch grip up on the thumb studs and actually do light food prep with this thing. A sleeper, you guys. And at around $50. And I really wanna put this out here. This is competing. Artisan's Ahab is competing with the button lock version of the regular one. Is $5 less than the button lock pyrite. $5 less. Look at just. I mean, I wanna. Ever so slight, though it's hard to tell. It might be ever so slightly thicker, if not the exact same. It might be half a millimeter thicker, but in this one, but it's almost 2 of the pyrite grinds. Who cares? At the same price, such a competitive price. Like you have to go. Even something like a regular Elementum's still going to be $60. Even if you're going into something like, let's see here, one of my other new favorites, the Covalent. In fact, I'll bring it on here as a competitor. Similar hand space, though only because I'm counting this on there. Otherwise, not even close. Ahab, more of everything except for the Duralock. And I gotta do this again. Oh man. There we go. All right. So yeah, and arguably more style. I see lots of potential with this. This is such a fantastic knife, and the cost to value ratio on this is outstanding. This is one of the better EDC values out there. It is under 3.5 inches, so it does get that nod for everything that's less restrictive in the restrictive category. There are places that don't have any restrictions. Most places, where I live, anything under 3.5 inches is fine. If I go slightly north into the LA area, it's 3 inches. Is what it is. If I'm doing anything more than passing through, I always make sure I have something else to put on there, such as my Yorkie. Nice, huh? But yeah, so man, this is just at $50. This is just so incredible. And I want so that brings me to the expectation on this. I expected this to be slicey. I kind of looked at the specs and I said, I wonder if that's as good as it looks. The answer is yes. It's better. It's better. I am on such a honeymoon phase with this knife. I couldn't wait to get this review out. This is such a nice contoured scales, you guys. Contoured scales. At $50 that are inset, hidden. You realize that makes these swappable, right? I don't know if anyone realizes that these are now swappable scales. I have not adjusted this, so this has been used a lot, and I need to pop those scales off. And it looks like I need to adjust my blade centering because it was centered when I popped it, and I have used this in a lot. This thing, oh my God, is there? Yes. I don't know if you guys will be able to hear this or not. Oh boy, that's terrible. How about I get a dry piece? We'll go with it. We'll go with a dry piece. Oh yeah, here. If you're one of those people who likes the curved stuff, I personally like it. If it'll shave. And one of my other favorites, just go, once you roll the edge into it, it cuts, it bites. Wow. All right, so expected it to be good. It was great. This is really a great knife. Like, this is 5 stars. In fact, I'm going to get into the requests part, because here's the only thing. I really wish that this liner lock was jeweled like the thumb studs here. Number one, this is not supposed to be a hard use knife, you guys. This is not meant to be something to use, as the great Shabazz would say, in a Vaseline factory. Okay? It's not. But having some, or you know, sort of like how there's a little bit of jimping right here to let you know, having just a few little bits right here, having a little bit of jeweling right on that top edge, so that the inside shine was still there, but then the beveled edge was jeweled, I think would not only give you that little bit of grip, but would match the thumb stud nicely. Still see the shine over here. I don't think it would change. That's my one request. Well, that, and man, can we get like a higher, I don't know what tough, like Magnet Cut's the only high-end steel I can think of that would have a toughness. Maybe CPM 154, but I'm just, like, if you're going to give me this in carbon fiber and Magnet Cut, yes, please. Jewel that little bevel there. Keep this titanium. Give me this in carbon fiber and Magnet Cut and take my money. Just, what more do you want me to say? Like, this is freaking incredible, you guys. I'm a big fan of slicey stuff. I am not really a big knife person, but I do have my share. And I like, a part of the things that I like about them is they often have really good slicey characteristics, because they have these tall blades, but often they're very thick because big knives get used hard. Some of Civivi's stuff, like right here, come close. But man, they don't take advantage of the properties of the steel. I have some of my bigger knives are all close, and one of the things I love about them is those tall grinds that make those. Here's another one. Here's another one. Other people may look at just the tall grinds that make. You know, there's smaller knife steels with that same thickness that make them so slicey. And here I have one that I guess it is as big as some of these. I just don't consider it a big knife because it's at 3 ounces. Like, I'm sitting here measuring now against these big knives, and I guess it is, but it just doesn't feel like it. I don't consider it. It doesn't seem like it's in that same league. It just, oh God, it's so fantastic. I'm gushing. Artisan Cutlery did great. I forget my apologies to the designer. I forget the name. There's his mark. There we go. There we go. There it is. All right, so there's his mark. Fantastic. Artisan Cutlery Ahab, you guys. Absolutely excellent. It is so outstanding. I can just sit here and say nothing but great things about it. There's some fit and finish. Like, you can find nitpicks. Nitpicks about the way they polish the chrome plating on the inside. I haven't got in there to be able to pick up more, but there's nothing wrong with the polish, including the inside edges. All the edges are rounded. The thumb studs jeweled with the perfect amount of grip. Like I said, the only thing I wish is that there was a little more grip here, but it's something you don't even notice when you're using the knife. Just great. If you're thinking about getting one, you should have already stopped this video and bought one. I wish I had an Artisan Cutlery affiliate link to send you to be able to drop. I haven't gotten my full approval yet, but I'm waiting on it right now. We shall see. Check back on this video. As I'm taping this, I am working on it. By the time this video drops, I hope to have that affiliate link down below. We shall see. But I appreciate everyone. Again, this has been your edition, not your edition, my edition, it's our edition. Friday Night Knives. Here on A Dose of Drew, I am said Drew. Go ahead, take this video, watch it twice, comment as much as you like. Be mindful of side effects, and remember to like and subscribe. This has been your Dose of Drew. I am said Drew, and you guys have a great rest of your night.